So why are we here tonight? We're here to tell the story of a journey that the Trust embarked upon in 2006, and it was an ambitious and an uncharted philanthropic journey. The aim of the journey was to address the serious problem that New Zealand faces of educational underachievement among Māori and Pacific young people. So the trustees, in an extraordinary gesture, committed $20 million to a new Māori and Pacific educational initiative. They agreed to pursue a proactive, innovative and strategic approach to this issue. And one of the things that the trustees talked about a lot in the beginning of planning the project is actually the contribution that philanthropy can make. And this is a slide that we use quite a lot when we think about what's the role of philanthropy, what's the role of a trust like ASB Community Trust in the education sector. And there's a very clear role you'll see in there for central government and the Ministry of Education in terms of the policy and the funding that they deliver to the sector. And the trustees were firmly of the view that philanthropy sits in the space between the formal education sector and the community. And I think you can see with these wonderful young men we have with us here tonight, just where the impact of our programs can be. So with this fund, the trustees wanted to take risks. They were looking for innovations, they were looking for capacity development, they were absolutely clear about evaluating the success of the projects that we funded. But we needed additional expertise and direction. And so the Trust pulled together Māori and Pacific educational experts and community leaders who became our reference groups, and they walked alongside us over the 18 months to 2 years that it took us to get to the final decisions. Pat Snedden talked with us about looking for the silver bullet, and the question that he posed very early in our discussions was, what is the next hook on the rail for Māori? Are there some ideas germinating in the Māori and Pacific community that the Trust could help nurture? But the idea for us was that communities would talk to us about their ideas and would lead the way for us. So the reference groups decided on a vision, which I think Kevin Ryan, our chair, brought to us from Ngāti Hine, Mā tātou āno tātou e kororo, we speak for ourselves. And as we move through this process with the reference groups, first of all we forged what we call the parallel process. So we had both Māori and Pacific reference groups working side by side together with the Trust in a spirit of collegiality and mutual respect, seeking, in the words of one of our colleagues, a gold standard of decision making. It was a very different way for the Trust to work. It was organic, it was relational, and we were looking for a partnership. We decided to call for expressions of interest, and we received an absolutely overwhelming 307 expressions of interest. And it took us 9 months, with selection committees meeting almost monthly alongside the trustees and staff, and ultimately we chose 7 groups, 6 of whom are with us here tonight. 6 groups that we chose were fully funded, and they received multi-year grants to be spent over a 5-year period, capacity building support, and alongside of this, we wanted to fund developmental evaluation and recording of the story. And what we're doing here tonight is receiving the first chapter in the telling of that story. We're here tonight to launch He Akoranga, He Arotohu, a record and analysis of the NPEI grant-making process and what the Trust has learned. This document outlines the grant-making process. It assesses what worked well and what didn't, and most importantly, why some of the things that we did didn't work. It identifies the lessons we learned and the implications of these lessons. It suggests how we or other funders might do things differently next time, and it offers some preliminary guidelines for innovative social and philanthropic practice in New Zealand. This evaluation was based on NPEI records and 25 in-depth narrative interviews with trustees and staff, reference group and selection committee members, capacity building consultants, successful applicants, and actually very bravely unsuccessful applicants. If you want to know the truth about the grant-making process, go and talk to people who are actually unsuccessful in getting the funding from you. So the document is a testament to the spirit and vision of the Māori and Pacific education initiatives, that those involved in this evaluation stand with the account of the journey we took together and have put our names to it. So why have we decided to share the MPI process and its learnings? I think, as I said before, some of the best learning happened when things didn't go as they planned, or they simply didn't work. And the lessons will continue to inform the Trust's high engagement work, and there are lessons in this for other grant makers who wish to work in partnership with Māori and Pacific communities. Some of the projects have been running for over 2 years now, and we are already having and collecting clear evidence of success around educational and community outcomes. We will be having discussions with policymakers and decision makers at all levels about what we have learned and how it can be applied to improve the educational outcomes for Māori and Pacific children across New Zealand. What's important to say is that the early results are extremely promising. There are a number of projects which we expect within the next 6 to 12 months to be talking with the Minister of Education and his staff of the Ministry about what we have learned through the strategic investment of the philanthropic dollar. And we think we will be able to prove there are some things that New Zealand can do as a country that will make a difference for our young people. So I want to acknowledge and thank the reference group and selection committees for all of the work and expertise that they applied to the task, and it wasn't an easy one. But tonight is also a chance for the Trust to show our accountability back to you and to their communities, so that we can update you and your communities on what has happened since we last met. So personally, I would like to thank all of you who have contributed to the project and to the document that the Minister